All right, huge news from Todd right there. I'm back here with Diya with a couple of new faces. First, George Kwon and Michael Chou, both vice presidents of product management, here to talk about these new products. But Diya, I want to start with you. I know you quite well. I know one of the things that gets you really excited is at entering new markets. And we're doing that clearly with IGA and PAM. But let's start first with why is Okta uniquely able to do this?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ryan. If you look at organizations today, they're struggling basically to meet their security, compliance, and workforce productivity goals because they have limited resources. Now, they're trying to cobble together point solutions, but these point solutions cannot keep up with the dynamic nature of work and the speed of cloud modernization. Also, for many of these organizations, the cost of cobbling these point solutions together is extremely prohibitive. So what we want to do is we want to provide a unified identity platform that acts as a unified control plane that allows our customers to be able to manage their risk, their security, their policies, and also provides visibility across all types of users and all types of resources. And while we do this, we really want to be able to bring the same principles we brought to our identity access management suite of products, which is cloud first, ease of use, and ease of deployment.
That makes a ton of sense, but I imagine it's more than just a control plane, right?
That's absolutely right, Ryan. We're building our privileged access management solution not just for resources in the past, but for how resources work today. So what we're doing is we're adopting a cloud-deployed, just-in-time credential model that works not only for on-prem resources, but also for the ephemeral cloud resources of today. And in addition, we're also broadening privileged access management, not just for servers, but for other resources like Kubernetes clusters, databases, et cetera. On the identity governance side, the Oct Identity Governance product is going to be able to redefine governance for the way it should be in the cloud world. Today, there are numerous applications that customers use. There are numerous types of workforce they have, so different types of users, whether they are your employees or your partners or your contractors. All these people need the right access to the right resources and the right governance to succeed. And with Okta Identity Governance, we're trying to reimagine the identity and governance space for a cloud-first world, where organizations have many, many more resources that their workforce has to access. And the definition of the workforce itself has changed. You don't just think about employees now, you think about partners and contractors. All these people need the right access to the right resources and the right governance for them to succeed. With Okta Identity Governance, we're also providing the ability to have self-service access to resources via common tools like Slack. And in addition, we will also provide an approval request for your more sensitive applications, data, and tools. And with our workflows tool, we're going to be able to provide you the ability to build customization and automation for your business processes so that you can move your business forward.
That's super clear. I love it. So I want to turn to you next, George. George, you've actually been here so long in fact that you launched our now famous Universal Directory product way back when. But I want to hear from you, what can customers expect from the new Okta Identity Governance product?
That's right. I was here when we launched UD. It was a great launch. I think this might be more exciting. Okta Identity Governance is an end-to-end solution for customers to manage who has access to what. It starts with Lifecycle Management, which automates the lifecycle of all your users, employees, contractors. It automates provisioning to applications and infrastructure. On top of Lifecycle Management, we're going to introduce a new access request capability. Enable self-service for all users requesting any resource, approval workflows, granular admin roles. Really allow you to delegate all those access requests to the business. And then on the governance side, we're going to release more reporting, the ability to enforce temporary access policies, as well as access certification campaigns so that you can be successful in all of your compliance and security goals.
That's awesome. That does sound better than Universal Directory. I didn't think that was possible. I want to talk about what we've done with Lifecycle Management. We have pre-built integrations, low-code workflows, but specifically around governance. We have a lot of innovation there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, the challenge with self-service and access requests is delivering an experience that end users love and are willing to adopt, and getting rid of all those siloed access request processes that are sprouting up in the shadows. So with Okta Identity Governance, we're going to deliver modern end user experiences through mobile and chat, and we're going to make it possible for the business to define their own access requests, rules, and approvals, so they adopt a central platform. On the governance side, Okta sits in a unique place in the middle of the directory, access management, identity governance, where we can provide unique context and visibility. So we're going to provide a single pane of glass through reporting, and we're going to weave that context into our access request capabilities and access certifications, so we can really streamline the process, no more rubber stamping.
That makes a lot of sense. So George, sum it up for us. Tell us about Okta Identity Governance and what customers can get from it.
Okta Identity Governance is going to help IT teams scale through more automation, delegation, self-service. It's going to drive better security and compliance outcomes, all while making the end user experience better, making getting access to the things you need actually easier. And Okta Identity Governance is going to be for organizations of all sizes, whether you are new to the governance game or whether you've been at it for a while and are looking to modernize. I'm super excited about this launch. I've been talking to so many customers. They've been pushing us in this direction for years. And now I get to look them in the face and say help is on the way.
Very exciting indeed, George. A long time coming. Thanks for that. Michael, I want to turn to you. You're relatively new to Okta, actually. And before we talk about Okta Privileged Access, I'd love to get your take on the things that Okta had built in these two areas already in our existing products.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's really impressed me the most, Ryan, is just how much investment Okta's already made in this area. George spoke about this, but with the Okta Identity Governance, this builds on top of our universal directory. It builds on top of our workflow capabilities and also lifecycle management. But with Okta Privileged Access, now we are leveraging the experience we've had in terms of securing infrastructure with our multi-factor authentication product and also our original advanced server access product. So I think what's really special here is with Okta Privileged Access, our customers are now able to have a centralized control plane to control access to their Linux, their Windows servers, databases, and also Kubernetes clusters. Now, because identity is at the foundation, only Okta can really automate the life cycle of accounts and also policies end-to-end, and then also insert governance inline auth flows.
So it sounds like a true end-to-end solution and sounds like it's very much better for IT. But one of the things I understand about traditional PAM products is that they're not a great experience for end users. Tell us about what that's like for Okta Privileged Access.
For our users, this is actually a really seamless and easy to use single sign-on experience. Whether they are logging into a monitoring dashboard with their web browser or they're logging into a Windows server with their local RDP client. But behind the scenes, our customers now have flexible policies for role-based access, attribute-based access, and also time-based access to really deliver just-in-time least privileged access. And to meet the demands of compliance, we audit every single login capabilities, and we fully capture all the activity that's coming in your SSH and also RDP sessions. Now, with everything tied to identity and unified to a single platform, we've really made it easy for these security teams to compile their reports and to compile their regular audits.
That's super clear. The Okta Advanced Server Access product has been out there for a while, really successful with customers. A ton of customers are using it. Tell us about how Okta Privileged Access builds on top of what we already have with Okta Advanced Server Access.
That's a really good point, Ryan. With our Advanced Server Access product, we've really made it very easy for the users to use, but we've made it even easier to deploy, regardless of whether they're running hybrid cloud or they're running multi-cloud. And we deliver these administrative controls as SaaS, just as you would expect from Okta. Now, just as a benchmark, we've had our customers deploy Advanced Server Access to hundreds of thousands of servers. And with other products, they weren't really able to do that. So with Okta Privileged Access, our new product, we're able to help our customers protect even more resource types and layer on even more security and auditability.
Well, that's very compelling, Michael. Very excited about Okta Privileged Access and Okta Identity Governance. I want to know when customers can get their hands on these products. George, let's start with you. When will customers be able to get Okta Identity Governance?
Yeah, Okta Identity Governance will be available in Q1 of 2022. It'll be available starting at $9 per user per month. So really excited about that. But to remind you, you can go make use of Universal Directory, Lifecycle Management workflows today, really implementing a lot of automation to start to solve some of those governance needs.
And that's also a great reminder. You don't have to wait to get started. You can start now with a lot of the great capabilities in our Lifecycle Management products.
Yeah, that's right.
So Michael, I want to come to you next. When can people expect to get their hands on Okta Privileged Access?
Okta Privileged Access is going to be available in Q1 2022 as well. and pricing starts at $45 per PAM unit per month. But you don't have to wait until then to get started. With our advanced server access product, our customers can secure their server fleet today. And we've made a lot of improvements since the last Octane for compliance with our SSH session capture. And for our customers that have Windows environments backed by Active Directory, we have a lot of really great improvements coming there as well. We've heard from our customers that servers are the most important resources to protect with privileged access. So we can get you on the right path today.
That's awesome. 2 new products, Okta Privileged Access, Oct Identity Governance, both coming soon, but customers don't need to wait to get started. And actually, we talked a lot about these products, but what we want to do next is show you these products. So let's send it back over to the demo team to see them in action.
Hello, I'm Lance. I'm a site operations manager here at Atco Foods. I run a number of IT projects globally, reporting directly to our CIO.
Hey, what's up, Lance? I'm Aaron, a security analyst responsible for helping our compliance team assemble audit reports for FedRAMP, SOX, and PCI DSS.
Aaron, do you remember when we used to have separate systems for identity governance and privileged access management? It was really hard to execute access requests, meet compliance requirements, and control access to sensitive resources in a simple and orchestrated way.
You know what was also hard for me, Lance? Every quarter at audit time, you and all the other app owners called me the fun police because I pestered y'all for audit logs. And then I had to spend weeks cleaning your dirty data for the compliance team.
Well, that's about to change, Aaron. You see, because we're already using the Okta Identity Cloud, I was very pleased to see the new Okta Identity Governance and Okta Privileged Access products, which will help us unify key elements of our IT and business strategy. You know, when it comes to sensitive access, I want a process that is transparent, seamless, and agile. The new Okta Identity Governance integrates with our existing collaboration tools, such as Slack, making this process incredibly smooth. It is a simple, automated experience when users need access to any Okta app, for example, Zendesk. But don't take it from me. Let me ask Teju, who is new to the team, what does she think about this process? Teju?
You're right, Lance. I'll admit I definitely came here for the Munchbox snacks, but getting access to systems here at Atco has been great. Now, as a site reliability engineer, I typically need access to various resources like infrastructure in AWS, collaboration tools, and some on-prem tools that we use for ongoing maintenance. Now, all of those apps were assigned to me on day one, but let me tell you, the last company I worked with, it took weeks for me to get access to systems, while other full-time employees got access to apps much, much faster. So I was definitely pleased when I came on board here to see everything standardized on Okta and even built into the tools that I use day to day. Now, it's great that I can just pop into Slack to create these access requests instead of having to go through clunky, old school systems. Now, that reminds me, I actually do need to request access to Zendesk to monitor some of our internal security tickets. So because Zendesk wasn't assigned to me on day one, I'm going to go ahead and create a new access request with Okta. Now, in the list here, I'll choose access to applications, and I'll choose Zendesk in the list, provide a quick justification like ticketing. Now, all right, I'm going to go ahead and submit this request and see if it gets approved.
I got an access request. It's from Teju. Okta Governance notifies me in real time whenever someone asks for or is granted access to production systems. In fact, Okta just messaged me via Slack to let me know Teju requested access to Zendesk. Since all of our site reliability engineers should have access to this app, I'll go ahead and approve access for her.
Okay, great. It looks like my access to Zendesk was approved. That was super quick. And I noticed at the same time that Atco's Okta review bot just pinged me asking to recertify my access to Dynatrace. I'm not really sure what this notification is about. I haven't seen it before, but I do still need access to Dynatrace to monitor some of our servers. So I'm going to go ahead and choose yes here. In the justification, provide another quick justification like I did before, like server monitoring. I think that should be good enough. And we'll go ahead and submit that. But hey, Aaron, since I hadn't seen that notification before, could you tell me what it's all about?
So what you saw was a smarter access review. It automatically prompts users to self-certify their access and is triggered by signals unique to Okta. In your case, Teju, the signal was inactivity. You just hadn't logged into Dynatrace over the past 30 days. This is less fatiguing on reviewers, and it saves time. The other benefit is that Okta captures these self-certification events for audits, and it even sends them to me via email. And this is great because I no longer have to pester Lance to get me audit reports ASAP all the time. It's all right here.
I appreciate that, Aaron. But you know what? Auditing and governance for applications is great, but it's not everything. We also need to ensure we can manage fine-grained access policies to infrastructure. Okta Privileged Access helps us manage access to more sensitive resources and adhere to the principle of least privilege. Let's see what that looks like for Teju.
Okay, so I confirmed earlier that I do still need access to Dynatrace, and I was even able to connect to Dynatrace directly from Slack, which is cool. But now, oh man, I'm thinking I shouldn't have done that. I just gave myself more work. One of our database servers' CPUs is running at 0%. I should probably go and fix that. I think this has happened before, and all I need to do is restart SQL on that server. So I'm gonna pop back over to Slack now and create a new access request. And this time I'll choose to access servers. And yep, in the list here, I can see that database server that I need access to. I'll go ahead and request access for about, I think 3 days should be good enough to do some ongoing monitoring, provide another justification, like I need to fix stuff. All right, that should be good enough. I'm gonna go ahead and submit this. Now that request is fired off. Let's see if it gets approved.
I got a new access request. It's from Teju. This looks like Teju needs access to one of our SQL database servers. Let's get her in. I love how this whole process is nicely integrated into Slack. It has helped us achieve widespread adoption of our privileged access processes. Among other things, I can see that this server is actually running in production. So before I approve, I do want to make sure I can see all of the relevant attributes of this server. Okta connects with our downstream infrastructure providers to pull in all of the resource tags required, making it really easy for people like me to know what are the right policies and what levels of access to apply, without having to go through security every time. Here, in the Okta dashboard, I can actually see all the information I need about this server. Let's see. It looks like this is a Windows machine running on AWS. It is tagged for sensitive data. And look, it is also tagged for PCI compliance. Because this is a PCI compliant system, I'll need to make sure Teju gets access only for a limited time. Slack is also telling me that Teju requested access for only 3 days. This actually complies with our PCI server policies, so I'll go ahead and approve access for her as well. One more thing that I love about Okta is the ability to apply time-limited access to privileged systems automatically. This way, Teju can get to this task in her own time, and I do not need to worry about removing access afterwards to meet compliance.
Okay, great. That was super quick. Just like my request to Zendesk from earlier, my request to that database server got approved. Thanks for that, Lance. So now I'm going to log on to that server directly from Slack. This is a Windows server, so I'll use my local RDP client to log in. That's already nicely integrated with Okta for single sign-on, so I don't need to enter any additional credentials, even for these Windows Server domain join machines. And of course, it looks like my actions on this server are going to be recorded. IT is always spying on me. I'll try not to break anything here, but no promises. Okay, so I'm logged on to that server now. I'll go ahead and start up services. We'll find SQL here, give that a little kick. And okay, that's up and running. And phew, another fire was put out.
You know, doing these audits used to be really painful. Whenever I asked our business app owners for access data, they took weeks to copy this on USB drives or to print it on spreadsheets. Come on, do you still write checks at the grocery store too? Fortunately, Okta eliminates the manual work of collecting access data and consolidates it under one umbrella. I can see who has access to our applications and infrastructure. For our more advanced compliance requirements, I can even view recordings of what people did in our Linux and Windows servers. So, looks like Okta sent me a report that shows recent access requests. This report also details any privileged actions that users performed. Okta captures all privileged SSH and RDP sessions and then dumps the logs into a secure S3 bucket in AWS. Now, Teju's latest session was on a Windows server, so let's check out that video. All right, I can see Teju in the server. It looks like she's opening up the Services app, and from there, she's restarting the database. So far, so good. And it looks like she's closed the session. Perfect, nothing suspicious to flag here. So I love how this all came together. Standardizing all of our access and governance needs with Okta has really unified our security posture from auth to audit. All of our reports are generated and consolidated in one platform, so I don't need to pester our team for updates anymore. And from the looks of it, these jokers, dear coworkers, appreciate that.
With all our identity and access management requirements, including governance and privileged access, consolidated into a single platform, we are finally able to streamline access requests, meet compliance, and better control access to sensitive resources in a modern way, using modern tools that do not hamper employee productivity or the pace of business. We are much better off now, thanks to Okta.